Today, we're going to go over service pricing, how to price your services. This is for repairs, not necessarily replacements, although you could use some of this for that as well. This is predominantly pricing your services. It also is going to be, in part, a method for you to be able to attract better employees, higher caliber employees, maybe hire people that are looking to earn more money. So this method of pricing your services is predominantly for services that are priced on a flat rate basis. So either straightforward pricing or upfront pricing, whatever you're calling it, it's just for flat rate basis. And it really does well for incentive-based pay when your service technicians are paid on an incentive base versus hourly. You can use it for an hourly base pay as well, where you can show technicians where they can earn more money. So what we're going to do is show you a tool that we've created here, which is the service pricing calculator, and it will be able to calculate for you service prices, how much for X, how much for a capacitor, how much for an angle stop, how much for a circuit breaker, right? Any service related item, and also then take into consideration a billable hourly rate where you can pay a technician a higher rate, thus allowing you to attract and retain better service technicians, more service technicians. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the setup page of the service pricing calculator. And the setup page has, and this is actually both pages or any tool that we develop, anything in blue, all of these fields here in blue are always fields that have required data needed. Okay, so this is where you can fill stuff out. And the rest are, in this particular case, don't have anything that you need to do. So what we're going to do here on the setup page is put in your top technician's hourly rate of pay. And it doesn't even have to be your top technician's hourly rate of pay. It could be in your market. What does the top technician make on an hourly basis? Absolute top. If you know that, great. If you don't, then put in your top technician's hourly rate. We're going to say it's $30 per hour, okay? Right here, what we're going to do, and here's where the being able to provide a competitive pay increase, we're going to say, well, how much more would I have to pay somebody for them to be interested in coming to work for us? What would that take? So here the form defaults to default of 15%. You can keep 15% here, or you can change that. We'll leave it at 15%. In other words, we're going to take the top techs that are currently making 30 bucks an hour and say, you can make $34.50 or $35 an hour plus if we're going to pay them hourly. Productivity. Here's where we measure the amount of productivity that happens within a day. The simple measure is, if we work 8 hours in a day, how many hours are we billing for? So if you have a technician that is out putting in 8 hours or however many hours, 10 hours, are they billing for all of those hours? Or is there travel involved, meetings, training, these other things that we're paying people to do, but there's no billable hourly rate at that point. Nothing's being billed. So our productivity, typically, if you don't know what your productivity rate is, typically it's at 50%. That's why this form defaults at 50. If you know your productivity rate is better or worse, change that here. There are companies that have productivity percentages of 60% or greater, and others that are only 30 or 40%, unfortunately. If you don't know, you'll be pretty good if you put 50% in here. Labor burden, total percentage. Now, when you put in your technician's top hourly rate, that is the straight hourly rate, does not include any taxes, insurance, benefits, anything of that nature. Here's where we're going to put that in. Your labor burden is a percentage. So what percentage are the taxes, the insurance, other benefits, things of that nature that you provide for an employee? This defaults to 25%. Typically, it could be anywhere from 24 up to 35 or so or more. So whatever yours is, put it in here. We'll leave it at the default of 25. Business overhead. Now, the total business overhead as a percentage, what is yours? Form defaults to 30%. We'll leave it at 30. And the desired profit on labor. Now, this is not profit on the entire job. This is profit on the labor only. And this is how the billable hourly rate is calculated in order to give us a billable hourly profit. So it defaults to 30%. 30% is a good number. If you want more or less, you can change that here. So what will happen is you will see here that it will come up with a billable hourly rate for your primary service technician, your service tech. So billable hourly rate of $236 per billable hour. If you have a helper, it defaults to 50% of that, which will be $118. Not much you can do to change that. Sales tax that you pay. What do you put in for sales tax? So 6% is it. Put in 6%, 10%, whatever your sales tax that you pay, not that you charge, that you pay. And if you have discount rates, so a lot of times in a flat rate model, in an upfront pricing type model, there are discounts available. And discounts would be for add-on services, like in this particular case. So if I have a primary repair, so we'll call it in air conditioning, we say we have a contactor that needs to be replaced, and then we're going to give them a secondary recommendation, and that is to also replace the capacitor. So that capacitor would fall under an add-on discount. So what is our add-on discount? I'll put 5% in. Yours may be different. If you don't have one, leave it blank. Member discounts, if you have maintenance agreements, maintenance memberships, things of that nature, a lot of times those memberships come with discounts. So if a client has a service or a repair, they will get a discount because they are a member of some sort. So typical membership discounts are 10%. Yours may be different. And then the member add-on, same scenario as the add-on here, but member add-on, which is an additional discount because you're a member. So we'll say 15% is the member add-on discount. So there you have the setup page. Here are the part cost multipliers, and you will see that parts that cost from 0 all the way up to 50 cents or 49 cents, or you have a $6 multiplier, all the way down to $2,000. If a part costs $2,000, you have a 1.4 multiplier. These you cannot change. If yours are different, reach out, let us know, and we can change these and customize this for you. But these default, and these are a pretty standard sliding scale default for multipliers. Once you have this set, you don't really have to do anything any further with this. You can leave it like this all the time. You go to the service pricing tab, and in the service pricing tab, again, anything in blue means that there's information that you can put in here. Now you can put in your date and your customer name and street address and all these other things if you so choose. I usually do that because if I'm going to have a document, I'm going to save this as, and I can have a date and a customer name. Further down, you will see if you want to put a vendor in where you're going to get this part, you can put that right in here. What this part is, the material, what is it, the name of it, a part number. All right, these are not necessarily required, but it's just a good practice to put these things in here so there aren't any miscommunications or errors. However, the quantity is required. And here we'll put, we're going to put a material, we'll put contactor for you air conditioning people out there, right? Whatever the part number would be. So quantity would be 1, and a contactor we'll say is going to be $18, okay? That's our cost now, all right? Now say the next item is going to be capacitor. And, you know, we'll put a part number, we'll put a part number in there just to kind of show you. This is not a real part number, by the way. And we're going to need one of those, and the capacitor is whatever, $9, and so on. And you fill in whatever amount of parts that you're going to need to make this repair. If it's only one part, that's fine. If it's multiple parts, that's fine as well. Once you're done with that, go to the total technician hours. How many hours, how long will it take to replace these parts? Okay, we have a contactor and capacitor. Now we're looking at total replacement, which does not include diagnostic, does not include paperwork, none of that kind. This is strictly for the repair. So we're going to say, take the unit apart, right? Take the panel off, blah, 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 replace the parts, put the panel back on, and start it up. So we're going to say an hour, okay, 1 hour. If a helper is needed in a particular case, if we're going to put in a coil or something that's heavy that needs a helper, a compressor, you would put that in here. Obviously here we wouldn't need that, so leave that blank. This, again, same thing for plumbing. If I'm going to replace a fixture, or if I'm going to replace an angle stop, or rebuild a toilet, or do anything of that nature, here's where I'm going to put it all in here, and I'll put the labor to do that right here. Same with electricians. I'm going to replace a fixture, or I'm going to replace a GFI or a light switch or something of that nature. Put the materials in here, put the total time it will take to do so. And here what will happen is it will give you your total pricing. So in this case, retail price would be $332.92. Add-on price, if we remember before, we said add-on gives us a 5% discount. So add-on price will be $316.27. Member price would be $299.63. Again, earlier we set it up. Members get a 10% discount. And then member add-on, if this were an add-on repair, $254.68. And there you have your service pricing tool. This will allow you to come up with a billable hourly rate, in this case, $236. And then we'll also show you, well, how much do I price this job at? This guarantees that you will be making the kind of profit that you're looking for on your labor and also on your parts, because if you remember on a setup process, there's a parts multiplier as well. Now, there are many methods to coming up with a billable hourly rate and pricing. This, however, is the quickest, the easiest to be able to price your services, be accurate, and know that you're going to achieve a good gross margin and make a profit on this stuff. If you have any questions at all or need some help with filling out the service pricing tool, or if you need to have the multipliers or anything else adjusted or changed, reach out and we're happy to help you. And there you have your service pricing calculator.